You know, we anime fans are pretty lucky out there. We get to enjoy this whole new slew of shows every 3 months and just love them and have fun. But please take a second right now and think about those less fortunate. Those poor souls who are just about to reach the last episode of Hunter x Hunter. And it's not like the Dark Continent arc is gonna get animated anytime soon. I mean, it takes forever to just get another chapter, so... You know, those sad, unfortunate darlings who will now have to live with the dull pain of missing their favorite shows forever. It's heart-wrenching, but together we can make a difference. Won't you join us in making the world a better place as we discuss how to make the agony of anime depression just a little more bearable? Let's make sure no otaku ever has to suffer alone again. I am joined today on this wonderful mission by the darling and adorable Sojo, the fantastic... the fantastic Scott, the ever so beautiful,
Hello.
and
Yo.
the beloved by all Remy. Who's ignoring me?
No, what? No, I'm not beloved by all.
No,
What?
it's a lie, Remy. You're loved by everyone in this chat.
Oh.
Everybody's loved. That's how it works.
Yay!
I think all of us have at some point finished the show and just, been super sad about it. I know both Let and I have had Hunter x Hunter depression forever.
Oh my, no. Ever since 2014, life has never been the same since that show ended. It's so depressing. And then...
That and all the other good shows do this.
Yeah.
It's even worse though. It's even worse though when the show that has a manga that's still ongoing and is on hiatus like every single month, and it just never comes back. And then when it comes back, it's gets 10 chapters and then goes away again for another 2 years.
Well, at least the show ended in what was more or less kind of a natural break. There are shows that end on cliffhangers, like right in the middle of the story.
Those
And
suck.
it's a good story. And
Yes.
you're never gonna find out what happens. There's no manga, there's nothing. It's the worst. It's really the worst.
Those anime original endings
Oh
really
yeah, they
suck.
do. They do.
So, Shoujo, what's the show you miss?
Do I even have to say it? Takuoki, like I'm dying.
How many times have you rewatched it now?
Like realistically, like fully, probably like 7 or 8. Yeah. But it's just so good. How could you not? You know what I mean? Also
You know
Skip
what?
Beat. Haven't
I
mentioned that
agree,
one yet.
Skip
But
Oh,
Beat.
I
Skip
need to
Beat.
rewatch that. Skip Beat is
What about you,
amazing.
Scott?
I haven't seen Skip Beat.
Oh, me? I keep thinking about Shinsekai Yori a lot recently, and things like Girls Last Tour and Made in Abyss.
I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I mean, they're... Oh, you have to at some point. Like, I mean, some of them do actually have endings, but, like, it feels like the adventure can continue, or Made in Abyss where it ends in a part where, hey, they're going on adventure again, and get all the build up.
I hate those endings. I hate
Yeah,
the
fun
endings
stuff.
that are like, and then they went into the sunset and went on an adventure. and then it's just like, okay, no resolution then, cool.
So you want your endings to have closure?
Yeah, always. If an ending doesn't have closure, it feels kind of
So how do you deal with
doesn't feel complete.
slice of life?
Slice of life's different.
Okay then.
Is that the picture?
Yeah,
Because slice of
Elaborate.
life never,
How's it
unless
different?
it's like one of those kind
Explain.
of darker, edgier slice of lives, never tend to have like all that dramatic stakes. It's more just like a group of friends at school doing a certain thing or whatever. Unless we get into the realm of sports, which is I'm shooting myself in the foot.
Yeah.
sports that keep on going forever and ever.
Sports anime
There's Hazen when you need
either
her.
ends abruptly or just never ends
just
and gets like a million seasons. Like how many seasons of Yowamushi Pedal is there now? Isn't there like 5 or 6 seasons of that?
Yeah. There was.
There's a lot of seasons.
But it's
It's
not
never
that
ending.
much. I mean, shonen go on for 500, 10,000 episodes. And
Yeah. One Piece is still going.
there you go. Is Fairy Tail still going?
Yeah.
No,
No.
Fairy Tail. The manga ended, but the anime still has a season left. I think it's getting the last season this year. I don't know. My friend I was with yesterday, he was telling me, he's like, "Oh yeah, they're doing a final season." And I'm like,
Okay.
"They are? Okay, cool."
What?
So,
What about you, Rem? Did you miss anything? Or are you like, it's gone, I never think about it again?
I don't really have that problem with anime, I guess. It's more like with visual novels. But if I had to say, like, I miss a particular anime, it'd probably be Saki. Even though the manga's still ongoing and I read it every time it comes out. But then reading the manga is also bad because Ritz never cutters her. She never shades her pages. It's like we get sketches every chapter. But yeah, I miss
that
it.
sounds very Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah,
Where
it's a bit.
Togashi just decides to sketch instead of draw, and it's not good.
Yeah, it's like the female Hunter x Hunter I hear. But it's it's not too bad since there's like so
I've
many
heard-
side stories going on for Saki. There's a prequel going on right now. There's 2 prequels going on, but I still miss it.
Is it building on the world at all in any special way for you that helps you cope
like
with it?
one of the prequels is focusing on some of the adults, like the previous generation. And we get to see like the seedier side of professional mahjong gambling for once. Because like in the actual Saki series, it's more like schoolgirls are playing mahjong and they all have supernatural powers and whatnot. But then this is more like, this is like what happens on the pro level, and it's kind of twisted, but yeah.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
I want to read the Saki manga now.
I have no idea what it is, so.
It's a mahjong manga / anime. I only saw the first season of the anime though. It's like really over the top though, which is kind of cool. It's crazy.
So basically, we're all missing something at least.
I'm missing so many things to the point where, but it's annoying because I compare like almost every like shonen I watch now to Hunter x Hunter and World Trigger, and it's really annoying because it's like it just nothing compares. Like I'll watch like My Hero Academia, and while I really love it, it's like it's not the same. It's not like as good as Hunter x Hunter to me.
I don't think it's even trying to be the same thing, but this is gonna turn into a Hunter x Hunter My Hero Academia podcast real quick if we get into it.
No.
You're saying that like it's a bad thing.
Let's yeah.
Like I just block it out. No, I don't. I usually try to watch a whole bunch of other series and like try to forget that it ever existed, which sounds really depressing. But
Well, I don't know about forgetting, but watch the other types.
That was my
series is
question.
what
Do you
I would
guys
do.
watch like completely opposite series to kind of reset your brain, or do you watch the same type of series to get the feel back? Like, do you
kind of.
Oh, I try to watch something different because after Shinsai Yori with all the the depression and the whole world building and the crap and sorry, what is that? A dystopia? Yeah, I tried to find another dystopia series like it, but it didn't work out because it's not Shinsai Yori. Like, I don't feel the same way immediately. I want to do something else, and usually helps going with something
that's
else.
the whole standing up to comparison thing that Let was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I usually try to I kind of do both. Like, I try and find something that's similar, but usually that doesn't work out. There's been a couple of times where it has worked out. Like when I watched World Trigger, that was basically just Hunter x Hunter again.
Really? Because I've never seen World Trigger, and this is the most exciting thing I've heard in a long time.
It's a little bit slower, and it's not as well written and the characters aren't as interesting. But
Good
like,
sell,
in terms
man.
of the... No, but it's really great. Like, if you get past the first arc, it really starts to pick up and it gets really interesting. But it has the problem of it doesn't end in a good way. It just ends in the middle of an arc and you're kind of left there. And the manga is now on hiatus, and it's been on hiatus for 2.5 years, and it's probably never coming back. So
yeah, that's actually like very depressing. I liked
That
reading the manga, but to say more about World Trigger, I think it handles its large cast of characters very well, and it effectively like builds on like at least in the manga. For a while, you were wondering why some people weren't using all of their I guess the Tryon, like all the energy slots for weapons and skills and abilities, and then you find out, oh, it's because they have like limited amount of Tryon. So like it explains like what people were actually thinking about and just lets you like think. And I think the series really improved when it was no longer about Kuga really destroying everybody and became more like a team battle kind of thing for World Trigger.
yeah, because like originally it was just like Yuma just has his black trigger and just totally wrecks everything by himself, but then it became more focused on squad combat because he can't use his black trigger all the time. So that was pretty
That was
cool.
a much improvement, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if anyone likes Hunter x Hunter, watch or read World Trigger, and then get depressed when it goes away and never comes back.
Quit enticing me. I might actually do it now.
I'd say probably read the manga, because while the anime is good, it is very, very slow, and there's a lot of recap footage because toy animation, and yeah.
There's a whole filler arc, I believe.
Yeah,
The filler arc's actually not too bad, but it doesn't contribute anything to the plot, and it can be easily skipped as well. So it's like, I watched it when it aired every week, so it was fine for me. But I probably wouldn't watch it if I was marathoning it.
But he was shirtless.
What?
No, the main character was shirtless during the filler arc.
What?
I think that's something.
Oh yeah, so he was. That was weird.
if you're interested in that kind of thing, I guess.
How about you, Shoujo? Oh, sorry.
I kind of do the opposite thing. Instead of trying to find something else that, will take up my attention, I kind of just embrace the thing that I have been obsessed with through rewatches and fan art and fan fiction.
Manga.
And I do all of that repeatedly for a very, very, very long time. Manga, yes, like all of that. And it doesn't make it go away, but it helps a little bit. And then you gradually start to naturally find other things that you love. Does that make any sort of sense? Like, it's not like I'm forcing myself to move on.
But yeah, no, it makes sense. You're basically waiting for the feeling to come down a little bit. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But does it?
Like, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood broke my heart when it was done, and
I'm
I was
at
like, I need
episode
more of this
4 right
because
now.
I loved it so much. Okay, no spoilers. But now that. So I got really into it, and I watched it multiple times, and I read the fan fiction, I looked at the fan art, and I still really like it, but I got over it.
That works
You know what I mean?
when it's a franchise or a show that's been popular enough that there is a lot of stuff out there, though.
Yeah.
Because
I guess that's true. That's true.
Once in a while you fall in love with this little thing that you're the only person in the universe that seems to have heard about it at all, and there's. Or
Like
for me,
Cheer
it was
Boys.
Humanity Has Declined, where everyone's kind of heard of it, but there's no. There's 3 or 4 extra light novels, and that's it. There's not much fan art, not much. It's not the sort of story that you can add on to easily, so you just kind of take what you can get.
On that topic, like, what happens? Do you guys sometimes like revisit some of the author's other works, like the person behind Full Metal Alchemist, like did Silver Spoon? Have you considered like checking that out? It's about farming.
Silver Spoon. What's that about?
Yeah, it's a slice of life farming show, manga. It's pretty good, actually. Very different to Full Metal Alchemist, though. Like,
Okay.
very different. But
Yeah, it is.
it's good. It's
But it's
nice.
nice.
It's really feel good and stuff. I do that all the time. I always look
Result?
at the author's other works, and it normally has really good results. Like when I finished Hunter x Hunter, I went back and watched Yu Yu Hakusho again, which is by the same guy. I also watched Level E, which is one of his shorter, lesser known works that no one really talks about much, but it's really good.
Oh, I should talk about it more then.
Absolutely fantastic. And I did the same with Hitman Reborn because I loved the anime. Like, it was such a good anime. But it ended in the middle of nowhere, and the manga got cancelled and shown in Jump. And it was really depressing when it was gone. But then she did Eld Live, which got an anime, which also ended abruptly in a filler arc. But it's got a manga, which is really good, and I'm reading that just now, and it's amazing. So, yeah. To answer the general question, though, I tend to do that a lot. Like, I always check out the author's other works, and it usually works really well.
Just gives you this hint of, yeah, this author is really good. They definitely know what they're doing.
You know, I don't do that, and I have no clue why I don't do that. It makes perfect sense. I mean, I do it in every other medium, but for some reason, there's just so much anime out there, I just kind of go next. And it didn't even occur to me that, of course, those people didn't die with the anime. They did other things. I mean, oh well.
Yeah.
Do any of you create your own stuff, like fan art, fanfic, program your own games?
Yes.
I wish I could do all of those things, but I can't.
Not to that extent.
I wish I was artistic. I don't have any artistic ability.
I mean, I can kind of make games, sort of, but I'm not a programmer, so that's the problem. I can design games, which is the easy bit. It's not easy, but it's the easier bit. It's the creative bit. But when it comes to actually making the game a thing that works, that's a whole other story. I can't program to save my life, and I can't draw, and I can't really write either, despite the fact I have a blog.
Oh, no,
Says the blogger.
Right?
What?
It's just you're not confident in your ability to write fiction, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I write all kinds of fan fiction. That's how I cope with things. So, I do that a lot.
Oh, really?
I was not aware of this.
Oh yeah, you talked about it on Twitter a few times, like the Chi-Chi and Goku thing, I think, or no, Dragon Ball's a shoujo. Your Dragon Ball's a shoujo thing that you tweeted about, right?
Oh, I'm working on that one, turning it into a episode by episode shoujo instead of being a shonen fighter. It's really funny.
Sounds great.
Just use your imagination for that one. I do silly stuff like that, and then I do more serious stuff, you know.
That sounds awesome.
Really like it.
It really does.
I can now imagine it in like a shoujo like art style and so as well.
Yeah, it's too ingrained in shonen for that, I think.
I can use
That's
my
the challenge. It's
imagination.
really fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What about listening to soundtracks from shows?
Yeah,
Like,
all
does that
the
help?
time.
Yes.
I have a CD in my car of anime soundtracks that I literally just play all the time when I drive. It's crazy. And then the fiance's like, why do you have a CD with Japanese music on it and stuff? And I'm like, 'cause anime. And she's like, okay, put something else on. And I'm like, no.
Your wife is not one of us. Your fiance, my bad.
Oh no, she is, but she's not like hardcore into anime. She's like, she likes it, but she's not like super. She can live without it.
Okay.
She'd rather watch a TV show or a movie.
I guess I can't use the word casual for that, but is there another one like newcomer or?
She's not even I wouldn't even say she's. Like,
I don't know.
She probably is a casual because she's not really a newcomer. She's been into anime longer than I have. She's just not like
She's an amateur and not an enthusiast.
Maybe we could say she's.
Yeah.
There we
we'll
go.
with that.
That's
We'll
probably
go with that. Like, if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't even be into anime, which is kind of weird. And now I'm like obsessed with it, and she's like, "You're obsessed with this stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah."
That happens all the time. Like, that's how I got into anime. And now I'm more into it than the friend that showed me it in the first place. It's crazy, you know?
The soundtrack.
You're
thing
cutting
is so
in and out
adorable.
for me.
Oh my gosh. Like, I have a... Sorry. Am I better now?
Yeah.
I have a playlist that I play in my car every day on the way to and from work of different things. And my cat's trying to get out. And my husband, it's really funny because the song History Makers, I have a cover of somebody else singing it on the playlist, and he just despises it. Like, he hates it so much. And I'm like, how? But
I don't actually associate the soundtracks that much with the shows. Like the opening and ending, sure, but the in-show soundtrack doesn't make me relive the show that much. I don't know why, but I have at times actually listened to snippets of dialogue on audio.
Huh.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Some voice actors, I think, are just phenomenal, just do a fantastic job. And there are some shows that I've seen so much that I can pretty much karaoke. So I'll listen to tiny bits of speeches. I have like a CD of just scenes that I've enjoyed, and sometimes I'll listen to that. It doesn't help me not miss the show. It makes me miss the show so much more. It's the worst idea.
Yeah, I feel about the same way. Like, sometimes I can associate some soundtracks of anime, like, especially, like, Yoko Kanno's behind it, because she gives every single one soundtrack work on an identity, but, like, it never helps with depression. It just increases it more. Like, I love this anime more and more every time I listen to this soundtrack. But that's a good thing. Yeah, I mean, don't you want to love the anime that you miss?
You'll also miss it more, which will cripple your heart more, make you upset.
Yeah.
Embrace the pain
Me,
as an
soundtracks
aspect
are
of
kinda
love.
hit or miss. It depends on the show and how good the soundtrack really is, because there's a lot of soundtracks that I can't remember at all, and I'm like, this song was in this show, but then there's some soundtracks like Hunter x Hunter or the Fate series had a pretty good soundtrack as well. Tsubasa Chronicle probably is my favourite soundtrack. I'll listen to that all the time, and it's like, it's good. But yeah, but then there's some shows that I can't even remember the soundtrack of aside from the openings and endings.
Fair.
I like how some people
That
will
might be.
consider a soundtrack to be like amazing, and then some people will consider it generic, and there's like no in between really. Well, there is an in between, but it's just one person's treasures, one person's trash, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Music
Yeah,
is highly
that's true.
subjective.
Just out of curiosity, sound off on this one. How do we all feel about the first opening
it
from
was the best one.
Attack on Titan?
Yeah,
How do we all
agreed.
feel about that?
It's the
Because I've
best
heard like
Attack on Titan opening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, best one.
yes. I think it's so catchy. Like, and then like my friend Chronic, he's just like, it's okay.
It gets you
And I'm like,
blood
what?
pumping. It's very adrenaline fueled, so it gets you ready for that type of episode. Just
I don't think I could.
Someone who...
It matches the.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't think I could listen to it every day, but I like it when I play it.
As someone who like spent most of his teenage years listening to like metal music, like that is like the greatest thing ever for me. I was like, oh, it's so hype. Like,
Have you heard the intro to Watamote?
no, actually, I haven't seen Watermelon.
It's a tiny, cute little slice of life comedy thing, but the intro is death metal. I don't. Honestly.
What? Talk about tone
It's an
dissonance.
amazing. Go YouTube it. It's such a funny intro.
Is it
Okay.
like the Death Note second opening, the Maxwell
Have
and the
you
Hormone?
never seen Death Note? I've only read Death Note.
Oh, the second opening for that is like proper like screaming death metal stuff, and like everyone was really mad when it happened, and I was like, that's amazing. That's like good music and stuff. But now I don't really listen to death metal much anymore because reasons. It just all
Your
sounds the same now. But I still like that opening. So yeah.
Alright, so my last and my most effective way of dealing with depression, personally, is being super capitalistic about it. It's buying stuff. I surround myself with figures, I get t-shirts, I cosplay as characters, I just, fill my world with little physical reminders that the show existed. And that makes me feel better. Like it's never gonna go away because there's a 6-inch figure right there. So I don't know if any of you guys do that or whether I'm just a sucker. But
I used to do it all the time, when I was younger. Like I used to buy figures, DVDs, Blu-rays, posters, everything. But now I don't, because I just happen to be in a living situation where I can't store a lot of stuff, because I have a tiny little room now. All my stuff that I kept is now up in the attic, gathering dust in boxes, and it's kind of sad, but I don't know, I've kind of lost the physical attachment to buying stuff now, but I used to do it all the time, and I used to have a really hefty collection of stuff, but it's expensive.
Yeah. Especially if you're saving up to travel or something, It happens.
So do you guys have any other weird rituals or just tricks to sort of get over it?
How about writing a blog post about it? Shed out all the feelings that you have about a series in this blog post. Tell it exactly why you like it and why you'll never live without it, and then just post it. Like, we're bloggers after all.
I feel like there are two parts to that. There's like the really subjective post that you write first, like as a gut reaction to, I loved this thing, let me share it with you. And then there's the after you've calmed down a little bit and you've gone back and watched it again and you can think more objectively about it, writing the more analytical posts. At least that's kind of what I do.
Ah, okay.
See, I do the challenges because if I'm too emotionally vested in a series, I find it very difficult to write a post about it. Partly because discussing emotional attachments is sort of tricky on paper. Like, I liked it because it's great. It doesn't translate that well. I just loved it so much, you guys. Doesn't look that well in a post. And partly because for me, that's the worst thing. Writing a post makes me miss a series like crazy. It makes me relive it, and it makes me want to just immediately drop everything and rewatch the series from the beginning. And when the series has 170 episodes, it's a bit of a commitment. So yeah, that's like my anti-thing. But doing the little challenges where it's just little snippets of, hey, whose outfit did you like? I find that manageable, and it makes me relive just a tiny little bit of the series without bringing everything back.
That's weird, because it has the opposite reaction to me, because, it's like writing a eulogy or something, not that you can't go back to it, but, this is all my feelings, and now that they're all out, now I can continue on. Now I can do something else. That's weird.
Kind of the weirdest, Scott.
I know.
What about you, Rem?
In terms of...
I look for fan art. I try to see what other people are saying about it, see if our opinions agree, disagree, see if there's another side that I didn't consider. Sometimes I even go to Reddit. It's a bad idea, but I'd go to Reddit. Sometimes I write about it, but like what Shoujo said, sometimes it's hard to be subjective, hard to not be subjective. You gotta get the reactionary posts because a series that you really like just ended. Archive of Our Own is I've only wrote one fanfic before, but yeah, that's also a great place to be. Yeah.
I go on the Reddit board for stuff I like an awful lot, and but I never actually post. I usually just read other people's stuff and kind of like to see discussion surrounding it. But for some reason, I've never joined in a Reddit discussion. Probably because it can devolve into disagreements and arguments and stuff. But I like to see everyone's opinions on the show and kind of see what the consensus is of what people think about it. If it's an ongoing series that's on hiatus, like Berserk or Hunter x Hunter, I like to read the theories and stuff, what people think is going to happen next, or what people think about some of the stuff that hasn't been explained.
Aren't you afraid of spoiling yourself? Pre-spoiling yourself?
I would say so, but because it's all kind of like theories and it's not really anything that's been confirmed, then it's not as big a thing, I guess. And the theories are never right, they're always wrong. Every single time. Like, this is gonna happen, and then it doesn't happen, and everyone gets mad, and they're like, oh, the thing I wanted to happen didn't happen. And it's like, well, yeah. But yeah, I tend to do that. It works pretty well. And the blog post thing, I try to do that, but I've never wrote about my favourite shows because it's really hard to do that. Like, because then I'll just be like, I love Hunter x Hunter because it's the best anime ever and it's a 10 out of 10 and it's the best.
See, I'd read that.
I would read it too.
Yeah, I'll be back in a sec, guys.
So, sorry, Rem, we kind of cut you off. You were saying you basically collect what other fans of the series have done?
Yeah, I like Twitter's usually where people post their art these days, or Pixiv, and I go there, just try to look around, like, and also I read other people's fanfics, and just I want to see what other people have to say, because I don't want to just be trapped in my own like head. I don't want to just relive everything over and over. I want to see what other people have to say. Maybe it'll enhance the experience. Maybe it'll help me get over it a little bit quicker. But that's how I do things.
Are you okay with like reading a very negative post on one of your favorite shows?
I sometimes force myself to, because I want to experience other people's opinions too. They're definitely entitled to their own opinions, their own perspectives, and I want to see if they can properly convey it. There's nothing wrong with someone disagreeing with me or someone having a very contrarian opinion, just as long as they can be respectful about it and convey it in a respectful manner, I guess.
You're so mature.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I really agree with that. I love reading opinions that are the opposite of mine, as long as they're not like snarky or like condescending about it, or like, if you don't agree with me, then you're X, and it's just like,
I actually love snarky reviews. I think they're one of the most hilarious things.
I think there's a certain way to do it and be snarky, but not insult the people that you're being snarky towards. Like, I've been pretty snarky sometimes, but I don't at the end. I posted a release today, but I didn't go, if you like this show, then you're a bad person, You're
the worst person ever.
Do that anime snob and be like, oh, you're a casual if you like this show, because that's not nice. But I love reading opposite opinions, just as long as they're respectful of my opinion as well. And I think it's one of the most interesting things you can do if you want to lose yourself into the discussion of a series. Because seeing someone talk about a series in a way that isn't the way you would talk about it is just fascinating. It's interesting.
Yeah, it broadens your...
Yeah. Everybody has a different
broadens
mindset.
your horizons. But...
Yeah, and it maybe makes you reconsider how you think about it as well. As scary as that may sound.
But doesn't it make you want to...
Hunter x Hunter's not perfect.
What?
Doesn't it make you want to rewatch the series?
What?
To go like, wait, what are they talking about? Maybe I didn't see it, I'm going to go rewatch it. Which is...
Yeah, that's happened a lot of times for me, and it's interesting, because it's like, oh, I didn't notice that little thing, or I didn't notice this little thing, or I don't agree with that little thing, and, stuff like that. It's cool.
Which is the opposite of what we're trying to do right now, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe the idea is just there is no getting over it. You know what I mean?
We're animated fans. We're always depressed.
Oh, it's
Always depressed.
I don't know if this was brought up in the past, but did anyone mention like watching specific scenes, like rewatching certain scenes? Because I do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like with Dragon Ball Z, when it's way too long for you to go back and watch the whole thing, but you have to just watch pieces of it.
I watched like the whole fight scene. Like I watched the whole Goku and Frieza fight again, and it was like 50 episodes, and I was like, why did I do that?
Especially in a Super Saiyan scene where he turns Super Saiyan for the first time, like hype.
And then
Yeah.
30 episodes.
That's just
No,
So
showing
accurate.
his
a really
pacing.
bad impression of Frieza. I'm very sorry.
I'm pretty sure you could get Emmy for
Whatever.
that.
So good. That was great.
My fiance tells me I'm very good at
should.
impressions, but I won't do any in this podcast. Maybe after.
Alright.
Okay, as long as it's after.
But yeah, I've rewatched. When it comes to fight scenes, especially, I like to rewatch fight scenes all the time. Like the Gon and Hisoka fight. I've rewatched that about 10 times. Usually, if it's to show off to a friend, like, hey, you should watch this show. Check out this amazing scene. And then my friend usually goes, nah, and I'm like, oh, okay. But that's another thing, actually, recommending shows to friends, because like then you can get your friend into it, and then you can talk about it with your friends.
Yeah, but you need friends to
Yeah.
do that.
That's a steep
yeah.
requirement.
No, exactly.
And what's even
Cursed
what's
other
even steeper
people.
requirement? Friends that like anime.
Just forget it, man.
Oh!
I happen to have one friend that likes anime who lives next door to me, but he's we have some very, very, very interesting discussions because he has the complete opposite opinion about just about everything when it comes to me. So that's great. Yeah,
That could be good, though.
Sometimes it's great, and I mean, he
could be
likes
good.
Black Clover, so we had a fun conversation about that yesterday. He was like, "Oh, have you noticed that no one likes Black Clover?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I was like, I wrote a post about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, so you did." I read that post, and then we talked about how awesome Black Clover was for 40 minutes, and I was like, "Great, it works." But yeah, I always try to like talk to him about shows that I used to be into and see if we can get some discussion.
Did you say that again, Lefik?
Oh, did I cut out?
A little bit.
Yeah, usually with my anime friend, I usually try to get him into things that I'm into, and if it ever works, then we can talk about it more. That's a good thing, I guess. Although I'm not sure if that makes me get over depression or not. But yeah,
It just, you can
Misery
share
loves
in it,
pain
you
with
know.
a friend.
Misery loves company.
Oh my gosh. The other night, Chronic came over, and when he comes over, we like go back and forth with shows that each of us have seen that the other hasn't, to kind of like little intros. And he had me watch, what was it? I'm gonna butcher the name. Like, one of those monogatari ones with the B, Bake Monogatari, something like that. Yeah. Was
That.
he had me watch that, and I was like, okay, aside from the fan service, which I just can't stand and I can't abide, the actual show was pretty good. And then he watched Hakuoki Renmaroku, and he actually liked it. Like, this is the same guy who watches all those moe shows that I can't stand, and he gave it like a solid 7, and I was like, okay, I'll take that. So now he's like gonna come over and watch the rest of it, and he could be sad with me. So there we go.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
nice.
It's
So what about the opposite of anime depression? What if we actually get the sequel that we want, but it's not as good as we
I pretend it
imagine
doesn't
it to be?
exist. Just,
Yes, I do that too.
I just
Or
Oh, really?
scratch it from the canon.
I know what's
Give me an
coming.
example.
All right.
Oh, for
Do you?
Shoujo, I know what's coming.
Is it
Yes.
the Black Butler? Is that what you're thinking?
That was in my head. How did everybody know that?
Read
Yeah,
your
no.
mind.
I know you feel differently about the second season of Black Clover,
Just
Arena, right?
Butler?
Butler.
Yes, I love the second season of Black Butler. I'm the one person who loves it, and I will die on this hill. I don't care.
I don't hate
will
it.
Fight you all. It was fantastic.
I mean, I have a controversial opinion that I never really liked Black Butler at all.
That's
But I
even
have
more
to
of a
rewatch it,
sacrilege.
because I rewatched it. I watched it like 10 years ago, and back then I was like a super hardcore elitist who hated everything. So maybe I'll like it now.
Plus, you didn't see all the other stuff they added. Like that is
Yeah,
actually
that's it.
canon. That is better. So
It's a very fourth wall breaking, winky sort of
good.
show. I mean, if you don't have patience for that sort of thing, it's gonna get on your nerves. But it's, it's created for fans of anime, basically. It's definitely not the first show you should watch, but it has value. I mean, there's a reason it has a fan base, I think. And the second season is very, very good.
Ooh.
you know, I think that Black Butler might have been the first not shoujo I ever
It's a
actually
shoujo?
saw.
I'm
Now that I
pretty
think
sure
about
it's a shoujo.
because it was on Netflix. No, it was the first. No, it was the first one I saw that wasn't, and then because I found it on Netflix, and I was like, oh, J. Michael Tatum's in this. I might as well watch it. You know.
Fair enough.
There's a lot of Kenshin
What other ones are
sort
there?
of OVAs and extra arcs that I did not like at all. And Rurouni Kenshin was one of I think it was the first anime I watched. Anyways, it's a beloved show for me, and I've managed to basically scratch away
Yes,
half the
agreed.
canon, just kind of make it not exist anymore. Nope.
Yeah. Anything that happens after the Kyoto arc
nope.
does not exist.
Except for the horse episode. I like
Nope.
the horse episode. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So, but I always am afraid when a series that's been off the air for a long time suddenly gets a revival. There's something very scary about it. And there's a you can never go home again feeling that sort of seeps in. And I hate when studios destroy something that I loved.
Oh yeah, it happens all the time as well, especially if it's after like a 10-year absence or something, like not being there, and then a new studio tries to kind of take it over, and they can either make it amazing
Yeah.
or they can totally screw it up, and in most cases they screw it up,
Although
which is a shame.
I'm trying to think of examples, but a few times lately it seems that has gotten better. Like I've been pleasantly surprised, and I don't know why I can't think of a specific example right now, but I guess the last Final Fantasy was really good, and it hasn't been good in forever. And
I'm muted, yeah.
let me I'll come up with something. You guys talk.
The most specific example I can think of is Devilman Crybaby. It's a remake.
Oh yeah.
It's a reboot of Devilman.
Yeah.
The original Devilman
is.
anime was like really kind of bad because it adapted the manga when it only had a few chapters out, so they changed a lot of the story. But Crybaby's like it's remade the whole anime from the ground up, and it's adapted. I think it's adapted the whole manga. I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, I've heard it did.
I've seen the first 3 episodes of that show, and I've watched the original Devilman, and I didn't really like it that much.
Well,
But this one is like, wow, like
but is it
really good.
a reboot or a follow or a sequel?
It's a reboot.
Yeah, reboots.
It's a reboot.
Reboots are different though.
It's a
Like
reboot.
Hunter x Hunter is better the second time around, and
That's true.
FMA is better the second time around.
That's questionable. That's questionable. When it comes to something like Kino's Journey, like I hated the reboot so much. I do not want to speak of it or get other
I'm
people
not saying
watch it.
they're always
but that's
better. I'm
just me.
saying they have a better track record than
Yeah.
sequels.
It's because they usually adapt stuff that's now finished, instead of doing what the original did, which is adapting something that's still ongoing. Or not finished, but at a point where they could end it.
Well, I think also reboots usually happen because, like you said, there's something missing from the original, and the people that take it on as a passion project. And it's people who care about it, want to do it, whereas sequels often happen a bit more as a cynical cash grab of a series where,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, 10 years down the line, maybe there's not that much cash to
I'm
be
actually
left.
trying to think of some sequels that disappointed, because with the big gap. I'm trying to think, but I can't actually think of any. I kind of Attack on Titan season 2. Like, I didn't hate it, but with the 4-year gap, it was a little underwhelming. Just because it was such a
it
long
really
wait,
was.
and then it was 12 episodes, and it was very rushed pacing, and it just kind of felt like. I hope with season 3 that they fix the issues of season 2 and they tighten up the pacing a little bit and they make it longer episodes, like more episodes.
I think they need to loosen up the copyright on there and get writers to actually adapt it for the anime. Then try. It's great that they were so faithful to the manga originally, but I think it's sort of choking them right now.
It's a problem with Attack on Titan because Attack on Titan got very, very political in the second season, and the stuff that still hasn't been adapted, it's just a lot of dialogue and a lot of talking, and it's like, as an anime, that's not the funnest thing to watch. Like, especially when you watch the first season of Attack on Titan, and it's like people flying around, like cyberpunk Spider-Man flying around and killing titans and using steam swords and stuff, and then season 2 is just like lots of talking and the occasional fight.
It's like the Star Wars prequels. It's awesome.
Yeah, now that you mention it, all the pointless talking.
I wanted to say something.
That doesn't do anything.
Devilman Crybaby. Apparently it's like a... What's it called? It's like, I don't know the term for it, but basically, I guess it's kind of like a spin-off, but the thing is, like, in that setting, in that universe, like, in that fictional world of Devilman, apparently God is, like, punishing a certain character to relive time loops. So it makes, like, all the previous spin-offs, not series, OVAs of Devilman, like, canon, because it's just like a time loop to make one certain character suffer. I won't spoil, but that's how it is.
That wasn't said anywhere, though.
That's a so I think that's kind of cool. I'm not sure if that's...
I think you kind of spoiled it for a couple of people there.
I don't think that's true.
That's what I heard. I'm not sure if that's... I think it's...
I don't even know what this is about. I just see it all over Twitter.
Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not true. Maybe it was wrong for me to say that's a fact.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah. It sounds very similar to the Evangelion rebuild theory that the rebuild movies are like it's like a sequel, like kind of alternative timeline to the original series or something like that. Like, I can't remember exactly what the theory was, but it was something like how
it just happened after the recreation
yeah,
of the world
something
or
like
something.
That, and like it's crazy. And I hope that is true. I hope that's what happens in the rebuild movies, because then it will make the rebuild movies not as
horrible,
disliked, hopefully. I love the rebuild movies.
I don't.
But I love the original and the rebuild movies.
We can talk about that later. A whole podcast for later about the rebuild movies.
We can do a podcast on that. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I mean,
later on, not right now.
But we can.
Oh no! The Evangelion fans are very.
Oh, what are you talking? People will listen. People will listen. But that's another podcast for another day.
Hashtag not my Eva. But yeah, that's really interesting though, Remy.
Oh yeah, but like Scott says, maybe it's not actually confirmed fact, but
I don't know. I don't see it that way, but that's just me. What do I know?
Yeah. So does anyone else have any other coping mechanisms?
I think
for anime they miss.
Cosplay.
Oh, I think we covered that. At least some people did.
Okay, because that was the fan creation stuff that Remy was talking about.
There's fanfics, there's
Okay.
fan art, there's maybe covering songs if you're able to do so. There's plenty of things to do.
I wish I could do that.
Right.
you do that, don't you, Remy? Cover songs?
No. Like
No,
once or twice.
I don't.
What, you do?
It's on SoundCloud somewhere. No, I mean I sing.
Wait, do you?
It's we'll talk about that some other time. It's not very good.
What?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
I need to hear this.
Hold you to
I
that.
did not know this.
If you feel
I'm
comfortable
sorry,
being
I
held
saw
to
it on
that.
Twitter. I thought it
Don't worry
was
about it.
general knowledge.
Wait, I think I saw this on Twitter too, actually.
I have
did
heard
not.
mentions of it on Twitter.
Do you
How am
follow
I so lost? Oh my goodness, Remy.
I still
Yes, I do.
tweets of the girl.
I don't know. I missed it.
Ah, that makes sense.
All right, well, for future reference, all the super private stuff, maybe just don't put it on Twitter.
That's not like super private. I kind of want people to hear.
Yeah.
Like if I actually do a good job, I'll try to promote it heavily. But right now it's kind of.
You,
I'm so curious as
but
to
you're
how this
always like
sounds, and I want to
super
listen
tough
to
on
it really,
yourself.
really, really bad.
Maybe you should let
Yeah.
us hear it.
Yeah,
and
stop being
Josh,
tough.
Like, get more opinions. Or put it on the podcast and get
We'll
general
see.
opinion.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't want this to dominate that. This has been the second episode of the Innominate Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening, and we would like for you to continue supporting us as we continue to talk about nonsense and anime. We would also like to hear your opinions on Winter 2018 anime. Like, hopefully the season has been enjoyable for you to watch.
That would be so fun. Like at the end of a podcast, just take like the really random crap people said and just like tack, 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 tack. Like totally out of context.
It's okay if we have silence. I can edit all that. So it's fine.
Leave that line in, though.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you should. You
Just
should.
to have it,
You should leave
yeah.
Put
that in.
it at the end as the end
A little bit of
tag.
the awkward. Okay, it's time for Left to do impressions.
We're not
Go.
doing this in the recording, are we?
I mean,
You said you could cut this out, so
Wait, are we done?
you know.
If
We can
we're gonna
stop the recording.
Maybe we should close out then and stop.
So that way they can talk about it in like the comments and
We're
stuff.
supposed
and,
to
like,
do questions on Twitter.
No.
Oh, we can do that after this.
forgot about
We can do that after this.
We'll do it. What's that?
Give us something to.
I mean, we're covering winter shows, right, next time? So why don't we just ask them to give us some questions for winter shows that we like?
oh guys, I can't do spontaneous closes. I only wrote the
do
opening.
that?
Somebody else has to close it.